Hello, good evening, and welcome to Eye on Port. It is proudly brought to you by Goil Company Limited, the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, the Ghana Revenue Authority, Serene Insurance. The proud media partner for this program is the Business and Financial Times. So every Thursday edition of the news of the Business and Financial Times, you should be able to read a lot about the happenings within the ports and maritime industry, particularly the happenings on this platform. Also, the schedules of the vessels that bring your goods into the port are also highlighted within the Business and Financial Times. Now, tomorrow, that is Monday at 8:30 p.m. on GH1, you should watch the abridged version of this program on that channel. Also on Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. on Ghana Television, you should be able to watch an abridged version of the program on there. Now, this week, we're going to talk about KANTANKA Automobile Limited. They're saying that they are very much poised to lead the Ghanaian market when it comes to automobile. Again, they are saying that, you know, the African Continental Free Trade Agreement area is just around the corner, its implementation. They're saying that they are going way into the continent. They are getting into the West African market and all of that. Today, we're going to break KANTANKA Automobile down for you to see what they're doing and what the vision overall is. Now, you also recall that just about 3 weeks or so ago, the president directed that all state agencies should begin to patronize locally assembled vehicles. KANTANKA has been part of that policy from the beginning. They've been part of the discourse and all of that. Today, there is a policy to this effect. Is that what should make the move, or is that a trick to boost the automobile industry for the local assemblers? We will digest all of that as well. And then we will also somehow look into the ban on the salvage vehicles and whether if we ban those salvage vehicles, what are the implications? Do we have enough good cars or vehicles in good condition that people can purchase locally, and they would have the purchasing power to also purchase them locally? What are the cars that KANTANKA is making? This is what we're going to digest this evening. If you're interested in knowing what is going on within the transport industry, the automobile market, and even the import and export trade market, you should be watching this program. Tonight, your questions will be allowed in. You're also allowed to phone in and also share your thoughts with us and with the rest of the world. Now, you know that as we prevent some of those salvage vehicles from coming into the country, it means that import of cars and import generally will be affected. Is KANTANKA and the other assemblers ready to boost up export by exporting to other countries and all of that so that we can balance that trade? All those questions will be answered here. In the meantime, we'll return after the break.
Every now and again, Goil makes good things happen. This time, Goil has introduced Super XP Ron 95, a higher grade fuel loaded with additives and yet sold at the same price as normal fuel. Goil Super XP Ron 95 enhances engine performance like never before. It maintains the engine by keeping it clean from carbon deposits. Goil Super XP Ron 95 is designed to burn slowly and thus improves fuel economy, making you save money after several kilometers. Goil Super XP Ron 95 gives you a smooth driving experience, that is, less vibrations. Fill up with Goil Super XP Ron 95. Now there's no need to pay more for any higher grade fuel. Goil has that sorted. Goil, good energy.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, streetlights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water. Or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Oh, how are you?
Hi Yvonne, a few words please. Everyone is talking about the fire at your production house last week. How are you holding up? Has production stalled?
No, not at all. My crew and everyone on my set is perfectly fine because I insure with Serene Insurance. As a matter of fact, I've had all my equipment replaced, including the vehicles that were affected. My workers have been sorted out. Even my production downtime has been covered. So it's all good. I have a meeting to attend to, so I have to get going. Sorry about that.
Which insurance company did you mention?
Serene Insurance, the new face of insurance, a member of First Sky Group.
Sa coronavirus yare no yare a sign pa. So obinya bi na se opo wagu so ana se ohwinti gu so a utumenya yare ni bi.
Okadi ni bahani onaka oyehila ekoji. Ohe banye do. Oba wulo. Ogo bahunu. Oba chine. O jamba wohe. Oba na sen kaka. Mekme musunchon. Mekme nuni enihe.
Coronavirus infection, the symptoms can range from mild, one of it being asymptomatic. Asymptomatic just means that you may not have any symptoms at all, and the disease process can gradually worsen to be a severe form, the severest being ultimately death.
We are expected to sanitize our hands when our hands are not visibly soiled or you can't really see dirt on your hands. If you can see dirt on your hands, the best thing to do is to wash your hands with soap and running water.
If you're using any of the cloth face masks, always make sure you have a rubber bag ready to receive it when you remove it, or you have a bowl of warm soapy water in which you can place the mask and wash. Wash your mask, dry in the hot sun for at least 5 hours, and apply heat by way of ironing.
Utiliser les ports de Tema et de Takoradi, c'est avoir un traitement rapide et sécurisé de vos marchandises diverses en conteneurs, en sac ou en vrac, ainsi que tous vos véhicules en transit. Le Ghana a construit un parking bien pavé pour tous les véhicules en transit. Une nouvelle gare frigorifique pour le stockage de la marchandise congelée en transit. Avec un nouveau centre de traitement de données construit et la mise en œuvre efficace d'un guichet unique national qui permet aux données d'être accessibles par tous les intervenants, le traitement des dossiers dans les ports du Ghana est maintenant efficace et plus efficient. Utiliser les ports du Ghana, c'est profiter des systèmes de portes électroniques et d'exploitation des terminaux, ainsi que de la réservation des navires en ligne, entraînant ainsi un parc de camions fiable pour un acheminement de vos marchandises dans les brefs délais avec un suivi satellitaire jusqu'à nos frontières.
Les femmes, à vous les honneurs.
Les ports de Tema et de Takoradi célèbrent la femme. Que les bienfaits de cette célébration apportent plus de bénédictions.
Welcome back to the program. It's Eye on Pod live on this channel. My guest in the studio right now, though, is Francis Kujoji. He's the general manager, Kantanka Automobile Limited. Kantanka Automobile. Francis, good to see you and good to have you in the studio. Also virtually joining us is Mr. Seth Chum Akwabwa. He's the Chief Executive Officer of the Association of Ghana Industries, AGI. Mr. Akwabwa, good evening and good to have you on the other side.
Good evening and thank you for having me.
You want to break down Kantanka, their activities as an automobile manufacturer or assembler in this country, their vision, what they've been up to. We'll also break down government policy towards lifting the automobile industry. Now, if you take minus petroleum, car import into this country is almost the highest that we have. It's about 60% thereabout. So if we have a policy that says we should begin to stop the importation of salvage vehicles, we want to look at where we can make room for the revenues that we are willing to risk and all of that. And KANTANKA and the rest say they are capable. So, Mr. Akujoji, yes, KANTANKA, how is it doing?
Oh, KANTANKA is doing fine. KANTANKA is doing very fine.
Let
me first of all greet your distinguished viewers.
Okay.
And then inform them that KANTANKA is ready, we are doing fine.
Okay.
And as you are aware, we've started a long time ago.
I know that we'll come back to break down all the details, and I know you are way more than prepared, because you drove in here with a very fine pickup. You wanted to prove to me that you have the best of pickups, so you brought in a very fine one. In the meantime, let's take a look at what you've been doing, your background, and the direction of this country, because a lot of people say that countries elsewhere, Western countries, are beginning to use their own cars for taxis and all of that, so they can't wait to have Ghana have their own. Let's listen to this piece and come back.
Okay.
A trip to most developed countries in the world reveals that the countries identify themselves with a special brand of car or cars, particularly when it comes to commercial cars and taxis that are either manufactured or assembled in those countries. In Australia, holding is common. In Germany, Mercedes-Benz is used as taxis. In the US, the yellow cabs are often Ford. In France, Peugeot is popular. In Russia, Lada dominates. In London, the Hackney carriages or TX4 is famous. In Japan, Toyota is leading. In South Korea and China, Hyundai is everywhere. And in India, Tata and Mahindra are ruling. This is the development that is making every Ghanaian desire for the day Ghana can equally own its own national brand of car or cars that can be touted across the globe, which can equally be exported to ensure a balanced trading in cars, as the country will be able to export some of its locally branded cars as well as import those from other nations. Many Ghanaians have therefore welcomed the increasing growth of Ghana's first and so far only indigenous car manufacturing and assembling company, KANTANKA Automobile Limited, with pride. KANTANKA Automobile, a Ghana-based automotive assembler and manufacturer, was established in 1994 by Kwadwo Safo KANTANKA and incorporated as a limited liability company in 2004 to research into the manufacturing of automotive components and their combination with other parts outsourced from component suppliers to form a complete built unit. In 1998, the first complete built unit was manufactured using 75% of local components, locally manufactured including the engine block. By 2006, the first SUV called Onante 4 was manufactured. KANTANKA vehicles are assembled in Ghana from complete knockdown kits supplied by a Chinese firm. KANTANKA is alleged to have manufactured military hardware such as armored personnel carriers, tanks and helicopters. KANTANKA launched an armored vehicle with rangefinder in the 2018 annual technology show at the Apostle Safo School of Arts and Sciences. In recent times, KANTANKA Automobile Limited has started producing similar cars in response to public calls, as hinted by the CEO, Kwadwo Safo Jr. The CEO shared photos of what appears to be an assembly plant for small vehicles. While commending the founder of the company, Apostle Kwadwo Safo, for his ingenuity and deep knowledge in technology, many Ghanaians have expressed the view that producing such smaller, less expensive cars would make better market sense even beyond the shores of Ghana. Although the company has been producing cars for many years, patronage remains low. But it appears the company has now strategized to meet the demands of the Ghanaian population and possibly looking at the West African market or the continental market at large, as Ghana joins the rest of the continent to commence the implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement area in the coming days. The new strategy by KANTANKA Automobile comes after German car maker Volkswagen last month unveiled new vehicles it has assembled at its assembly plant in Ghana.
Okay, so Francis Kujoji, General Manager KANTANKA, is in the studio. Francis, so the background we gave, is that what it is?
Yes, exactly, that's what it is.
Okay, so what's the state of your place now, KANTANKA? What cars do you have, and if you can let us know?
Now, we have SUVs, pickups in two categories, the luxury and then the ordinary. And we have mini SUVs, which we call the K71.
K71?
Yes.
Okay.
Then we have sleek, high-class sedan, KANTANKA Mensa.
KANTANKA Mensa. Okay.
Then we have KANTANKA Amonima.
Amonima,
which is a sedan of 1.5 liter engine capacity.
Okay. Amonima is 1.5.
1.5.
And Mensa is what?
2.4.
I see.
And then
but Mensa is SUV?
Mensa is saloon.
Sedan. Okay, the sedan.
Yes.
Okay.
And then we have the K71 too, is 1.5 cc. It's a mini SUV, which the ground clearance is a bit higher than the normal sedan cars.
Interesting. So the producer will be rolling some of those cars on the screens so that we all have a look at it. But why did you start with those heavy cars, the SUVs and big armored, military armored and all of that?
It's about marketing strategy.
Okay.
We started with the SUV. Why? Because we are new entrants into the Ghanaian market. And then there are bigger players like Toyota, Nissan, etc. They are in the system already. And you know, Ghanaians, if you start with something small, you know how they are going to bash at you, or they can't go that higher. And also, we're looking at this kind of endorsement approach in marketing, where if we start with SUV, we know which category of people use
you're targeting.
Cars, yes. Office of President, for instance, cannot buy those small cars.
Yeah, the sedans.
The sedan, the smaller ones, no. So we started with the SUV, and then the high-end sedan, the Mensa. Okay, so the SUV that we started with, you see that the former Vice President Emisata of blessed memory initiated the purchase of 2 of those vehicles into the then Flagstaff House.
Okay, which of those vehicles were there?
KANTANKA or 94.
Okay, those pickups? Or?
No, the SUV.
The SUVs?
Yes.
Okay.
So now you can see that we've been endorsed by a very higher personality in society.
At that time?
At that time.
Okay.
And there are very, you know,
and then subsequently
high personalities like Tunfor buying using some of our SUVs. So if you see those type of people in society using we've been given that kind of endorsement. So people begin to recognize KANTANKA and align KANTANKA with those type of personalities. So then it means the cars are good to be used. So once we get them, then we start scaling down. So that was when we started scaling down to the KANTANKA mini SUV of 1.5 cc capacity, and then we've scaled 1.5 cc.
Okay, cc.
So now
that's a mini SUV.
Mini SUV.
Okay. So what's the name of that one?
K71.
K71.
Yes.
Okay.
So now we scaled down to the barest minimum of 800 cubic capacity engines, which we are going to roll out very soon, probably in the next 2 weeks.
That is which one?
The KANTANKA Amonima MI.
Okay.
Which is a mini sedan.
What's the capacity of that one?
800 cc.
Oh, okay, that's fairly good.
And then we have an EV version of that car too, the electric type of the KANTANKA Amonima MI, which we are going to roll out very soon. That one is not going to use petrol. No,
the electrical one.
The electric car.
When are you launching that?
2 weeks time.
In 2 weeks time.
2 weeks from now.
You have electrical car coming out. Yes. What's the name of that one?
KANTANKA Amonima MI.
Oh, that's also Amonima.
Yes.
MI.
MI.
Okay. I see.
Yes.
The Amonima is raining, you know. But give us a sense of where you have traveled from. Because way back, I have heard 2007 when I spoke, I came to interview the old man. 2007 and 8 there about when I came to interview the old man at home. That the initial sentiment was that they need, government buy-in. They need the Ghanaian to embrace this and all of that. What has the journey been like?
From 2007, the conceptualization stage. When
that was the conceptualization stage?
Yes, when the demand, demand for KANTANKA cars to be sold commercially was very high as then. Because before then, the Apostle Dr. Christopher ventured into this manufacturing of auto parts locally, including engines and engine blocks. So from then, he built the first sedan car with 75% of components made in-house. We tried it, tested, and it was overwhelmingly accepted by Ghanaians. Then we move on to the SUV category in 2006, 2007. So now the demand from Ghanaians as to when are the KANTANKA cars going to be sold, are going to be produced en masse and sold to the Ghanaian public. So from then we started, venture into commercial automobile assembly. So we started with the completely knocked down assembling process. In fact, looking at the market and looking at the response of Ghanaians and looking at how to penetrate and get that node, we thought of going to government, petitioning government to come out with a policy guideline for the industry.
Yeah.
Way back 2010.
I see.
So in 2010, we petitioned the then government to at least come up with a policy so that we'll be able to know where we are starting from, where we are getting to. Because if we invest so much in capex without knowing how clearly we are going to, from where we started, to recoup whatever we've invested, then there's going to be a big problem.
Yeah.
So we started with petition government, successive governments, until quite recently that the present government listened to us.
Okay.
There was a very serious engagement between stakeholders and government. There were a series of meetings, series of deliberations, and then finally the government came out with a policy for the auto industry. So once this policy is out, then it means whatever dream that we had 10 years ago should be a reality now.
Yeah.
So I can confidently say that we are at the dream realization stage of the company.
Oh, you are.
And this year, we are going to step out and come out fully.
I see that. So it's been about a 10-year journey coming all the way from 2007 when you expressed or petitioned to government, hoping that government will be able to help you with a kind of direction to go, and so that you'll be able to dominate sort of the market, both in Ghana and go beyond that. And now we have this policy. At this point, we have the policy, the automotive policy that we are operating with now. Among all of it includes the fact that some incentives have been given to you. Also, some vehicles are not supposed to come in. Also, locally or state institutions, for instance, should begin purchasing from your outfit. Now, what's your assessment of the policy? Does that make you feel fully ready to take over? Or there's a lot more that needs to be done?
Yeah, I can confidently say that the policy has given us that kind of marginal propensity to, go into whatever preparations that we've made before. We, like we said, we were not just going into component assembly. We're looking at component manufacturing too. So once this roadmap has been made and it is so clear that this is where we are going now for the next 10, 20 years, whatever investment that we are going to do should be done now. So KANTANKA, as we speak now, we are ever ready to continue from where we've started.
How many of the cars do you produce within a certain period?
We have an optimum capacity of 8 cars in a day.
8 cars in a day? What sort of cars?
Any of the models.
Okay.
8 in a day. When we are doing...
When you say 8 in a day, it means what? From every day, yes, 8 cars should be ready for the market?
From the basic welding stage to complete testing. 8 in a day. That is the optimum capacity. And it can be increased to 12. So we start from the welding line when we are doing CKD. We put the auto bodies together to form a complete body. Then we move it to the spraying line, which we call the coating line. We do whatever coating there, we spray, and then we move to the general assembly line to complete the basic assembling of the whole complete built unit.
Okay.
So that is basically what we are doing now.
Okay. What modes of cars are you concentrating on at the moment?
At the moment, we are concentrating on the pickups.
Okay. Why is that?
The pickups.
Why is that?
Looking at the directives from government and looking at government purchase of vehicles, pickups dominate government purchase of vehicles.
Okay.
So the concentration now is on the pickups and the mini cars. That is what we are concentrating on now, because there is higher demand for those models, and we are working seriously to let those models dominate the market for now.
Okay. What about the smaller ones, the sedan? So regular people who want to purchase the kind that looks like the Toyota Corollas and all of that, how much do you have on the market?
The Toyota Corolla type is the men's KANTANKA Amonima.
The Amonima?
The Amonima.
Not the MI?
No, not the MI.
The MI is the electrical version.
Exactly.
Okay.
The Amonima 1.5 liter capacity engine. And we are ever ready to produce significant number of those models into the market.
How many of those do you have on the market at the moment?
At the moment, we have 150 of those models.
150
models.
In your showrooms, or where are they?
At the factory now, under construction.
Okay, they are not ready, like as in ready to be purchased.
Yes, but they are under construction.
And how long will it take for you to
It doesn't
complete?
take that much. Within a month, 2 months, we have to finish production of those 150 units.
Okay, so within a month from now, you should have about 150 units of those sedans.
Exactly.
Okay, in the market. Yeah. And what are the prices?
The prices of that minima is 80,000 Ghana cedis.
80,000 Ghana cedis, okay. Yes. Pay off, right? Everything, no? You don't have any payment plan?
We have payment plan, 50% DP, and we spread the rest over a period of 12 months.
And when you are buying outright?
Buying outright, we give a discount of 5%.
Okay, so if I'm paying in full, if I'm paying using your mortgage plan, for instance, I pay 40,000 now, and then you spread the rest of the 40,000 for how long?
12 months.
For 12 months.
Between 6-12 months.
Okay.
Depending on your payment capacity.
Okay. This is a brand new vehicle you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And if we are, if I have money and I'm paying outright, you
get it for 75,000.
75,000 cedis. Okay. Is it negotiable? You know, Ghana will have bargain.
It's sort of.
It's
sort of negotiable.
It's still negotiable. Okay. So let's talk about parts as well. A lot of people feel that spare parts for some of these vehicles are difficult to come by and all of that. Assume that I'm using a Kantanka and need to get parts. How?
You know, the most interesting thing in the auto industry is that most of the cars have compatible parts. So if you look at a Kantanka ordinary pickup model, the parts are compatible with some of the models in the market already. You know, one very, interesting thing about vehicle construction is that when you look at the pickups in town, you look at the Mitsubishi model pickup, Toyota model pickup, look at the tail light.
Yeah.
They look very similar. You look at Toyota, how do you call it? Toyota RAV4.
Yeah.
And there are some Mitsubishi types. If you compare them to the Kantanka K71, the tail lights are similar, almost the same.
Okay.
When you are considering construction of a vehicle, the first thing you look at is the headlight and the tail light. The headlight and the tail light determine the shape of the bonnet, of the fender, and of the grille. So most of these vehicles have similar, designs which fits into those parts. So parts in the auto industry are very, very compatible and similar. But then we still have parts available from our OEM.
Okay.
For our brand of vehicles. So with parts, we don't have problem at all.
I see.
Parts are readily available in abundance.
Okay, but they would all have to come to you before they can get the parts, or they can, for instance, walk into Swami Magazine or Abosokai and still be able to get your parts?
That is what we've been doing for some time now. But
Which
then we have monopolized the parts. But now, what's going to happen is that we give franchise to parts dealers.
Okay.
In
Abosokai
and Swami, etc. So parts.
But all this while you have monopolized it.
Monopolized.
You only have to drive to any of your offices before you can have access to your parts.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay. But now that people are being asked to come and purchase from you, it's good that you are looking at opening it up and then also letting other vendors.
That's exactly what we are doing now.
Okay. Yeah. So this one from a senior custom officer says, ask reps of the Kantanka what plans they have for village folks in their effort to manufacture electric tricycles which use battery, considering the fact that the charging system may not be in the villages. So you have electric cars coming up, electricity in very relatively less developed areas. What plans do you have?
Okay, with the charging system. You know, before we came out with these electric cars, we've sufficiently engaged our designers in the type of charging system that we're going to use. Fortunately, we've developed a system such that the charging system is compatible with whatever charging system that we have in Ghana.
Okay.
Plug-in charging system.
Okay.
And you're talking about the electric abubuya. It will interest me to let you know today that we have developed electric abubuya.
Abubuya is the small one, the
tricycle.
Yeah.
Abubuya.
Very nice one.
Yes, we have a couple of them under testing right now.
Okay.
And we've sufficiently tested them.
Is it the one that is covered? It's covered, so there's a leather zip that doesn't allow water to come in, the rain to come in, and all that.
No,
that's
for the purpose of the pilot,
yeah,
we have that kind of open type,
yeah,
which is used to cut goods. That's what we have now.
Okay.
And it's so simple for us to develop the cover type.
Okay.
Cover over it for it to be used as to transport.
But the open type is electric.
It's electric.
I mean, I see. So, and that uses what? Battery.
Yes.
So, how can people recharge them, for instance?
It's simple. That's what I was explaining, that we've sufficiently engaged our designers to develop a charging system which is compatible with our plug-in charging systems, like those that we have in Ghana. We use to plug for ironing, any other appliance, etc. That's what we use.
How much is that one, for instance?
The electric abubuya.
Yes.
We've not priced it yet.
Okay, so it's still down there. Yeah. Now, there's the smaller one that the CEO, for instance, posted the pictures. There's a small one that, I also saw Chairman was telling us the last time that he needs to, people can use it in schools and things like that. Tell us about that one. Who can buy it? What capacity is it? That small vehicle like that?
Yeah, it's very small, but not that small. It takes 5 passengers. And the
5 passengers.
5 passengers.
That's 2 front and 3 back.
3 back, normal.
Oh, I see. That small car.
Yes, and you know why we ventured into the electric cars of that
size,
of that size. If you look at our university campuses, distances, shorter distance between like 50, 100 kilometers, those cars are ideal for those purposes. For instance, when you go to Circle, there are taxi drivers from between Circle and then, how do you call it, Ministries. Circle and its environs.
Yeah.
Those cars are ideal for those purposes. Intracity taxi services. So we thought critically about how best we can be of service to those in that industry. That is why we came out with those cars. So that when you charge it a day, it takes about 8 to 12 hours to charge it.
Okay.
Yeah, so after close of work, when you plug in.
Overnight?
Yes, after close of work, you plug in, you wake up, it is fully charged.
Okay.
And you can use it for the whole day.
Okay.
About 300 kilometers.
Okay.
So a taxi driver within Accra running 300 kilometers, by the time you end the 300 kilometer journey, you are done with your daily work.
Okay.
No fuel.
No fuel?
No fuel.
How much is that? That one you haven't priced it?
We've priced it. The price is between 40, 45,000, 40, 45, 50,000.
Okay.
But we are looking at, scaling it down to, we want to do cars. We want to come out with models that will cost like 10,000, 12,000,
9,000, 8,000,
8,000, 7,000.
Very regular people like us to get.
But we cannot.
Why?
The components.
The components are expensive?
The components are expensive. If you put the battery, even the battery and then the tire together, it's over 7,000 cedis. So we are trying.
Where do you get these components?
We outsource the components
from
China, Japan,
okay,
and Germany.
Okay.
And like I was saying, we were trying to go into component assembly.
Yeah.
And once this green light has been given, we are seriously considering stamping and plate pressing.
Okay.
Where we'll be molding the body parts here in Ghana, and that is a whole industry. Once we get into that industry, we can be molding parts, molding body parts and exporting to other countries. We are also considering going into tire manufacturing, where, like I was saying, auto tire manufacturing is a complete industry.
Yeah.
Even if Ghana should just concentrate on auto tire manufacturing alone,
we make a lot of money. There's been a lot of advocates for us to begin to use brand new tires. Yes. This started way back, I think about way back, and we still haven't gotten there. I will ask you about, we'll get back to some of those things that you intend to get into, including parts and the auto tires. But we are the port, and my boss is the General Manager, Marketing and Corporate Affairs, Mrs. Esther Jibidonko. For her, she's always selling her port. I noticed that even though you assemble these cars here and they will be available down here, you also import the components. You get them from China, you get them Japan. So the more you are assembling these vehicles, the more you are importing some of these components. So that also brings some revenue when it comes to import, right?
Yes. It does. We pay port duties, port charges, how do you call it, handling charges. We pay all those charges before the import duties and levies.
Quite a number of questions for you. Those who are calling the WhatsApp line, please. The WhatsApp line is 055901977. The phone number that you can call when we open it is 020-552-8353, 020-552-8353. So those of you calling the phone lines, please avoid that one. Also on Facebook, and I noticed that some comments are already on Facebook. A lot of people who are watching speaking a lot, and they have a lot of questions for you. This one says, I would suggest to the General Manager to read this book regarding how Toyota became the greatest manufacturer, quote, and that's the title, I guess, The Machine That Changed the World, unquote. Since his organization is very small and he has major players already in the market, it will help him and the company very, very well. I'll read his comment.
Can I come in here?
Yeah, you can go.
You see, he's talking about Toyota. You know what the Japanese government did for Toyota?
Tell us.
In 1927, when Ford and General Motors established their plants in Yokohama and Osaka, in Japan then, what the Japanese imperial government did at that time was that they encouraged the local industries, the local auto manufacturers, to produce more. They gave them incentives, tax holidays, and then they encouraged the Japanese to purchase the Japanese manufactured cars, and they banned the Japanese from the purchase of the American Ford and then the General Motors.
So there was a deliberate policy and effort
if you don't
to protect.
do that, you kill your local industry. And what are we doing in Ghana? Have we done same to KANTANKA? No. So if you are telling us to study the Japanese model, we can do that.
I think this one is in good faith. What he's saying is that there's also some tips that you can learn from there to boost your output. He goes ahead to say that if the capacity of the plant is 8 cars in a day, now please, what is average demand of the market per day? Hence, are we producing to the market? Great to have part interchangeability. Monopolization will not help. Let us horizontally forward integrate into after-sales service if we really want to get more revenue, even if 2 branches in the whole country, since more revenue can be made from after-sales service. That is true and really true. That is coming from him. But let me just pick the AGI Chief Executive Officer, who has been monitoring what we are saying, and from the Association of Ghana Industries perspective, they've also been assessing you, and they have been doing a lot for you. Mr. Chuma Kwabwa.
Hello.
Yes, sir. You've been listening. What do you make, and what has been your assessment of KANTANKA, the assembler or the manufacturer so far?
Well, thank you very much, and good evening to your viewers. Let me take this opportunity to commend the management of KANTANKA for the good job they've done over the past years. and for bringing this into fruition. They've done a lot of good to themselves for moving beyond trade shows and exhibitions. I know way back when we do trade fairs, they will come and display some of their products.
Displays,
people thought that, yes, people thought that it was just for trade shows.
Yeah.
So some of us were encouraging them that go beyond the shows, because they can come up with some interesting product that you never imagined was produced in Ghana. And then they were being challenged that, oh, all you are doing is trade shows. How can you move beyond that and come up with a commercial product that will be in the market, so that when you enter the market, you are seeing it? And they've set up a very good example of that kind of effort by putting this range of vehicles in the Ghanaian domain and the brand of vehicles that they produce. So they've done very well, and I think we are very proud of them as an industrial company in Ghana and as an active member of AGI. So we are very impressed with the work they've done. We know that it's always difficult to start, but once you start, you must almost be growing. So where they've come from and how far they've come, where they are now, we can only urge them to do more and actually go beyond the Ghanaian market and do bigger things and all that. So that's my initial assessment of them, and I know that I mean, where they are, they can actually increase capacity. As they said, even their current capacity is big. If they're able to get a market, they can grow it. So they've done a good effort, but of course there's a lot more to learn, a lot more to do, and a lot more market to capture, a lot more individuals to get into it, and then see what they can do to increase their volumes and everything.
What would you advise that at this point in time they begin to concentrate on?
Well, there are a number of things. I think the first part of it is the market. If you don't have the market, you don't have a product. It's the basic principle in business. No matter how good you are technology-wise, no matter your financial capacity, no matter the skills you have, if you don't have the market, you don't have business. So the efforts going into developing markets are very good. And I listened to him. They started with the idea of coming out with high luxury cars for high people in society to start using it to galvanize support and acceptance. Otunfo using it, the former vice president. I know the minister for finance, current minister for finance, even used their vehicle. I know the deputy speaker also uses it. So once they got to that stage and they started developing the mass market, that was the right thing. But of course they have to grow it further. And I liked the idea of coming with financing models. They may not have the finance to do it. And I think one area they need to critically look at is how they can partner other financial institutions who will give loan facilities for workers, of companies, for institutions, for individuals who can tap into that kind of resource and buy their vehicles. If they have such an arrangement, I'm sure it will go a long way to help. The other thing that they need to continuously work on is about cost and price competitiveness. No matter how we'll come to the advocacy part later on, but no matter how you advocate, no matter how conducive you create the environment, it's about your ability to produce at the minimal cost and become very competitive. Because for the individual who is buying, and mind you, there are different segments of the market. At the individual level, they take their own decisions. And when they are taking a decision to buy something, it's about the price, it's about quality, and it's about the image and all that. And the key part of it is the price and price competitiveness. So they need to continuously work on the effort to reduce cost as much as possible. I know that no vehicle company produces everything in-house. They outsource. They bring different parts. So the outsourcing alone is a whole skill you need to have. You need to have the right sources to get your various parts and materials so that you can reduce cost from the material stage. You need to have the efficient system of assembling so that you can reduce cost at that stage. Of course, there's also the business environment issue, which has to help to reduce the cost of production so that they can, at the end of it all, their volumes will then be high. If you have a high volume at a lower cost, then the cost per unit also reduces. Then you become competitive in the market, but never compromise on quality. Not because you want to reduce price, you reduce the quality. If you do so, people may use it today, but you cannot retain the customers. So for me, building the customers, reducing the cost of production, and then being able to sustain the business you're doing is a good approach and a good way to go.
And also from the market, what would you, or what do you expect from the consuming, the automobile consuming market of this country? What level of support or cooperation do you expect the public, the Ghanaian to begin with, to offer this particular industry?
Well, the Ghanaian public can play a role, but it's at different levels. First, government role is key. Government procurement, we can talk extensively about it, but government procurement is key. And I think that the government is the single largest buyer of all goods and services in the country, and government decides to buy so much, it will help a lot. So government procurement is key. The institutional level procurement, corporate level procurement, and individuals, we are all trying to buy this product. I'm sure it's going to help a great deal. But the other thing is that, as I said, for individuals, when they are buying items, the first thing you would have loved that they consider is the patriotism aspect, that the mere fact that it's coming from Ghana and it's made in Ghana, we should be proud of it and use it. So that's what I will encourage Ghanaians to do for them. But as I said, that is an individual decision. So it comes from the individual, and they are going to look at price, they are going to look at availability of the product when needed. They are going to look at financing models that are available to be able to procure and all that. But I think another part that they have to do very well, and he mentioned it, but I think we need to interrogate it further and see exactly what they are doing in that area, is building the value chain very well. Because key part of any vehicle is the components and the parts. So if a vehicle is in the market, it's on the road, and it gets spoiled along the line, you need to have the parts readily available for the mechanics to fix it. And assuming you have traveled all the way to the north or to Kumasi, you can't come all the way to Accra to buy the parts. So well-stocked parts in different parts of the country, in the different market centers, are very key. Again, you need to be able to train even local mechanics. And there's an argument that, oh, when you have these assembling cars, you're going to reduce job. I don't think so. The effort should be made by the producers, the vehicle assemblers, to even train some of these wayside mechanics who can fix these vehicles. Because every vehicle, today you may buy it new, tomorrow is old. So definitely you will need these mechanics. So you need to be able to have a supply chain and a value chain system that works. And if it all works well, you know that your vehicle can be easily fixed, the parts are readily available, the parts are not too expensive, and it's competitive to other vehicles, then Ghanaians can buy. And if all these are available, I don't see why as Ghanaians we shouldn't patronize our own indigenous Ghanaian who is doing so well, who's doing something good for the country. So that's what I would say, that we all have a role to play, we should all support, but they do their part and we do our part, and I think together we can develop this industry very well.
Okay, yeah, before I come back to the GM, initially I pin you down specifically to the ordinary consumer in the market before coming to government, because at the government side I wanted to elaborate a lot more about the recent policy directions that we are seeing. If you take the individual level, for instance, now we have a particular oil marketing company in this country. They sponsor this program, so I can mention their name, GOIL. And almost every Ghanaian has bought into the fact that GOIL is Ghanaian, GOIL is indigenous. When you buy GOIL, you are buying for country. And so people are purchasing it. Now, they don't rest on that, but they're also ensuring that they are top-notch when it comes to quality and everything. Should there be a deliberate effort to get the Ghanaian imbibed in this particular product of Kantanka? And then also, if you can further move on and assess the policy directions that we're witnessing coming from government, and whether that is great enough to back an industry, a company like KANTANKA?
Okay, thank you. So at the individual level, yes, you're right. I think that we should make every effort to imbibe the idea of patronizing made in Ghana products. And I think this is something that the media, like yourself, and you are doing a great job for even hosting this program, because you are highlighting the benefits of using KANTANKA. So I think that there's a lot to be done. Excuse me.
Take it down small. It's a bit hazy out there. So
yeah, so there's a lot to be done even by the media and by every individual Ghanaian, because the thing is that if we have a production plant that is assembling and producing these vehicles locally, they are employing people. And he said they even want to go into other areas, do some backward integration, produce some tires or some of the parts locally. And I think that if they're able to do all that, you can imagine the number of people they will employ. The other thing is that we should be able to create other businesses along the line, not necessarily by the same company. So any of the Ghanaian companies can pick a particular part. One, they can be assured by KANTANKA that they will buy the volumes from them. They will also set up an ancillary business, produce to supply. So subcontracting becomes a big issue. Once we are doing a major assembly like this, all the parts, you look at it, it's not every part that we can produce locally, but we can look at parts that we can conveniently produce and encourage companies to do it. So it is really important that as Ghanaians, we appreciate this. We can't expect government to do everything for us. We, at our individual level, should make that effort. Now, on the government policy, I think that it's a good policy, and ADR, we have been talking about this all the time. And it's not just talking about a policy for purchase of Ghanaian vehicles. It's basically a general policy to promote the patronage of made in Ghana products. And we have always said that government procurement is key if you want to support local industries. And therefore, government coming out with a policy that government institutions should give priority to the purchase of locally assembled vehicles. I think it's a very good policy and it should be encouraged. But then there are different aspects, different angles to it. It is not a directive that says all vehicles should be purchased or all vehicles to be purchased to be locally made, because of course it's not possible. We don't have the entire range of vehicles being produced in Ghana. So we need to monitor that if we say we should give priority, indeed the institutions are giving priority. So the procurement agency responsible for this should take this seriously and ensure that at the beginning we were at ground zero. In a year's time, this is the number of vehicles produced locally. This is the percentage that has been bought by government institutions, or the other way around. Government institutions have a number of procurement, a number of vehicles to be procured every year. So we take it. This year, this is the percentage they procured. Next year, if they are increasing the volume, then that is growing. Then we are doing well. So we need to look at all that. The other aspect is that when it comes to government procurement, the major problem most Ghanaian companies have had is the payment. We should make deliberate effort to ensure that if we are buying from the locally assembled plants, then let's pay and pay promptly. Because if you don't do that, you may think you are doing them a good favor by buying from them. But if you delay the payment so much, by the time you pay, they are out of business because they borrow at high cost to finance the assembling of the vehicles. And here he is talking about imports of various parts and all that. If you're importing all these, you are using hard cash to purchase. So when you purchase, you have to really, when you procure, you have to pay on time. That is another thing that is also very important. But beyond that, you also ask the question whether that is enough. I think that is good, but it's still not enough. We need to continuously work on the business environment, because at the end of the day, the government procurement is only one segment of the market. I see the market segment in about 4 levels. Government is 1, 2, corporate institutions and non-governmental organizations like your company, like my organization, like all other corporates is another. The third level is individuals within the Ghanaian space. both workers in companies and all that. They are all members of the individual who can buy, and then the export market. So I'm seeing it about 4 different levels. So government procurement is one. Now, to be able to capture the rest of the markets that I've mentioned, the 3 other markets, and even the government one as well, you need to be competitive in price. Now, for you to be competitive in price, your local production cost must be low. So we have to continuously advocate, and government must continuously listen to us to help reduce cost of production. If you are talking of electricity cost, I'm sure if we give you the figures, electricity will constitute a big part of the cost of production. If you are talking of labor cost, if you are talking of raw material cost, we are talking of financing cost, interest rates and all that. When we put all this together, this is what contributes to the high cost of the production of the product. So for you to be able to capture all these markets very well, you must be able to produce the goods at a minimal possible cost. And that is where government role comes in. So we need to work on that, make the environment very conducive, help to reduce cost of production. Then they become competitive to serve all these other markets that I've talked about. Other aspect is also the other tax incentive that comes in. For example, ADI with government, we've had a strong negotiation over the years, and we have a program we call the deferred VAT system, which is the fact that when you are importing raw materials for local production, you actually defer the payment of VAT until you finish producing the products and then it's sold in the market before you pay the VAT. It is an incentive that helps a lot of the manufacturers. KANTANKA, if they are not taking advantage of it, they can take advantage of it. But that kind of import incentives also helps a lot. Tax incentives will also be available, so government can look at it and we can continuously engage on that. And then finally, we can also work together on the export market by using the various government institutions such as the Ghana Export Promotion Authority, the Ghana Investment Promotion Authority, the Ghanaian embassies abroad, to all help to promote and organize market for these companies, because they are there to serve us as a people and as a country. So these are areas that can also help in addition to the main policy of government procurement. These are all equally good and important areas to look at.
Okay, I'll come back to you later on the continental market or the sub-regional market, especially as we're hoping to start after pretty shortly. But let me come back to Mr. Kujoji in the studio. Before that, quite a number of questions for you. I think this is the largest number of questions I have seen from the beginning of the program so far. The first one, let me start with the Facebook one. It says, Efia Boatman says, my question is, can you kindly ask how their supply chain looks like, since they are ahead of the African Continental Free Trade? We'll get to that. Also, he mentioned that they are focusing on the pickups for now. Now, the question that I can ask is, what is their market target? Is it just government? Are they not looking at other markets? What is their market target, basically, beyond government, since you are doing a lot of pickups? And then New Look Plaza says, what is the mileage on the small cars you talked about? He further goes on to say, let help do the marketing. We are all in together as a proud Ghanaian. We'll be happy to have our own cars on the street, just as we see in Malaysia, Singapore. He's listed quite a number of countries where they have their own cars. So a lot of people are eager. This one says, vehicle titles in the US, you can get your car title when that car had been fully paid for. Even when you buy a used car, either from the owner or a car dealership and fully paid, you get the title. Some accident cars that the insurance company had condemned unfit for the road should also be banned from entering into Ghana. This one says, hello, good afternoon. Please, the car, are they for sale, please? Yes. Are your cars for sale, Francis?
They are for sale.
Okay, so the KANTANKA cars are for sale. When a car is accident and you buy back from the insurance, it's a clean title. Okay, that's on the clean title and all of that. So let me read this one. Hello, Iron Port. I am avid viewer of your program. Unfortunately, we have a listening government. I am glad you have brought the subject on locally assembled vehicles on the show. Although it may cost more initially to implement the following measures, it will certainly cost less in the medium to long term. I would like to suggest to head of the government ministry permitting local vehicle assembly plant to revise the agreement with local vehicle assembly plants to manufacture only natural gas-powered and electric vehicles in Ghana, and compel the DVLA to license new vehicles within a certain class that run on hybrid power, natural gas and electric vehicles. We have natural gas in abundance, and it is a cleaner fuel than diesel, allowing. Okay, so this is quite long. This is quite long. Even though you're a regular texter, I will have to go on. Besides all of your discussions, I must say that our roads are congested. So it goes on and on that way. Good evening, sir. Please, I'm Ben from Tema. Please, they should think of doing small cars like Picanto with petrol, not electric alone. Because if I am going to the north with an electric car without knowing anyone there, meaning it will be difficult for me to charge it on my way back. But if it's with petrol, I can buy petrol tanks. They should go beyond driving the car with Accra alone. So yeah, they're thinking like, you know, you can take it to travel and all of that.
And that is what I was saying, that the smaller car models, we have the engine type which uses petrol, and then the electric type which I suggested that that one will be used in Intercity.
Okay.
Yeah. So and
then the fact that make it a hybrid, not just electric. Well, are you looking at that?
We're looking at that. We are still in the process of developing more technologies to, you know, combine. Even when driving the electric cars, we are thinking of, you know, solar, converting the whole body into a solar panel, which will.
So you ride on solar?
Ride on solar, and then it's recharging the battery whilst you are moving.
I see.
It's still under development.
The partnership with the banks that the AGI CEO talked about, do you have some with the banks?
Yeah.
Are you looking to have arrangements with major banks so that people can be financed to purchase from you?
With the policy out, in fact, we have quite a number, about 5 banks now lining up to do business with us. So we are in the process of selecting which bank to use in the vehicle purchasing scheme. So we are drafting a policy which between KANTANKA and the bank and then the consumer, so that we have a very flexible terms of payment through the bank from the consumer.
What's the volume of your import when it comes to components?
Component import is about 75%.
75%.
Yes.
Okay.
75%.
Let me say, so let's say annually, what volume of containers do you import?
Last year, we did about 57 containers.
57 containers.
This year alone, we've done 27 so far, and there are 30 containers which will be landing maybe on the
37 and 30.
37 is coming on the 9th of this month.
Okay.
And then we are estimating,
so we're looking at about 70 so far.
50 other containers in the next 2 months.
Okay.
And it will continue like that.
Okay.
So with the policy, we are estimating over 300 containers in a year.
Yes, I see. Yeah. That's a good one. You bring a lot of money to the port,
exactly.
And people will be excited. Hello, good evening. I would like to commend the MD and his entity for the good job they are doing for Mother Ghana, and ask just one question. It is with regard to the electric or chargeable cars. Can they consider the physically challenged person needs to develop something like electric or chargeable tricycle for us? This is coming from Komla Agbugba, and I have interest in this. Do you have plans for the physically challenged? They use wheelchairs that they can lift the wheelchairs up, and then they can get into their car safe and sound.
Yes, we have.
If you don't have, you have to begin to think about it.
We have actually developed a system where a physically challenged person who is, fit with only the hands can drive a car, the automatic type of car. The pedal we have this hand pedal, which works on the accelerator and the brake.
Yeah.
So once you sit down without the leg, with legless, you can use your hand to accelerate and apply the brake.
That's not bad.
Yes, we've developed that.
Is it in the market already that people can start buying?
We have developed it. There was,
but it's not built yet.
It's built.
Okay.
It is easy. You can use it on any automatic car.
Okay. And that you have
we
already.
Have we have
okay,
already,
that's good.
Yes.
So good evening. Well said, President. I am individual. Okay. It's an individual decision as to what one wants to use. I think it should be an open market for all. Banning salvage cars is not the way to go. Very bad policy. Even advanced countries haven't banned salvage cars. Anyway, great job from Kantanka, Kwame from Tema. So those who were part of the policy decision going from the beginning have all attested that they have compared with other countries. Even in Kenya, they don't use cars that are about 5 years or so. Salvage vehicles, most of the countries that are hoping to develop are getting rid of them. The policy also go beyond just asking you to buy from Kantanka or any locally. They are saying that if it's accidented, for your own security and safety, just don't use it. You can bring the home used ones, all and any other brand you want, but just don't bring the one that will put your own life in danger. Let's talk about reducing, before even reducing cost of production. Are you training local mechanics, people that you see around? Are you increasing the number of people you employ at this point?
Yes, most of the mechanics that we use are locally trained.
How many employees do you have, though?
350 so far now.
350 persons employed.
Yeah.
Okay. And they are, you said they are all Ghanaians?
They are all Ghanaians.
Okay.
Locally trained.
Okay. With this policy and your intention to increase production and all, for somebody who is hoping to get into a formal setting like yours, what are the possibilities of employment?
We have a trainer of trainers policy. Where those who want to be engaged in the various sections of the production process are engaged and trained. So at any point in time, we have people ready to be, we have backups.
Because this one, Imam from Pokwase says, hello, good evening, please. My name is Imam from Pokwase. Please ask the gentleman. I am automobile air condition mechanic. Can they employ me? Because I am dying for this man. I can work for 6 months without pay. I don't have problem for working without pay at all. It is for good and it's for the nation. Thank you, Emmanuel from Pokwase.
He should come over tomorrow.
He should come to you tomorrow. Emmanuel, you just got a job because he said you can even work 6 months.
Yes, I need him. I need him.
You need him. Yes. I think he can be of good help, and a lot of people. So, Sami, please ask the man seated there. How can they come? Waited for long before bringing the idea of manufacturing. We like the idea of manufacturing. This is long overdue. They could have taken the advantage when there wasn't any competition then. So now you have some competition in. VW is manufacturing, Toyota is manufacturing, and this is coming from Bruce in Tema. VW is around. How do you deal with this competition that is coming? Toyota is also on the way.
Yes. We don't see them as we don't see that competition at all. No.
Okay. Because how well have you positioned yourself amidst that?
You know, when you look at the market critically, VW, Toyota, Nissan, they have their models in town already.
Yeah.
I don't think they are bringing in anything new. But anything Kantanka
is new.
It's new. And you know the major problem that we have with most of our consumers have with driving Kantanka cars is that you've been in the traffic. Then somebody will be driving, looking at you, and then before you realize, bang. So everybody in traffic, when they see Kantanka, becomes so excited.
They admire it.
They admire it.
And the cars are smart.
Exactly. Look at
the one you brought. The one you brought here is like deliberate. You brought some solid one. Is it custom made or something for you?
Yeah, you see.
Solid and clean.
You see, we are talking about competition.
The producers want to go and take a picture and even
I would even like to give them a ride. Yeah. You see, it's competition, like you said. Yeah. So we have to look at where we are at the moment, and then we have to look at who we are competing with, so that we come out with something crafty, something very nice to beat the market. And that is exactly what we've done with these particular pickups. And we are doing more. We'll be doing more. Most of our models coming out now will be very, 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 very sleek and very beautiful.
The cost of production, your CEO mentioned in the little piece that we have there. Chairman himself has also talked about it. How is the cost of production like for you? And what can be done to it?
Cost of production, when we're looking at the holistic cost of production, including
fixed,
the kits,
yeah,
it's like the major area that we have always been talking about is the duty component.
The duty component?
Yes. That takes almost between 25 to 27% of the cost of production.
What do you mean the duty component? Duty on the components that
duty
you
on
import?
The components imported.
Okay.
Previously, it takes 25 to 27% prior to the policy. So now that our component is out, and it means the cost of the car is going to be reduced by between 25 to 27%.
Okay.
When we look at the other production overheads like electricity, water, etc., at the plant, you know what we did? We try as much as we can to minimize the cost of electricity by using air and water. So in welding, for instance, we use a combination of air, water, and electricity, where the electricity is very, very minimal. In the general assembly line, the spraying line, we use air a lot. So the cost of production actually is very minimal.
Okay.
Compared to previously where we build it up.
Since when did you see this reduction?
About a month ago.
A month ago, when the policy took effect.
When the policy took effect,
so the policy has been good for you.
It's very a whole lot of difference. That was what we've advocated for from a very long time.
Okay, this one says, good evening. I want to ask, there's production of motorbikes by Kantanka Automobile. Richard from Kumasi. Production of motorbikes. Are you producing motorbikes?
We have thought of going into motorbikes. But then looking at the accident rate of motorbikes, we don't want Kantanka to be associated with
a lot of
accidents.
Okay.
So we are looking at it. Going into two-wheel motorbikes,
yeah,
it's a bit dicey. We're looking at it. We're still looking at it. But then I don't think we are going to go into that for now.
Okay.
Alternatively, we'll be doing the tricycles rather.
Okay.
Which
is safer, you think?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so this one says, my prayers for Kantanka Motors is that one day an assembling point or plant will be built in every region. May Allah continue to add more knowledge to people who work hard each day helping this country. Prince Gunu from Tamale. On Facebook, Thomas Enchibuesiakom says, do you have arrangement with the banks for financing purchases? I think you just talked about that. Obinti Kwabena Yedidia. Please ask Kantanka that where is the... Okay, I'm not seeing the rest well. Boache Yayo says Kantanka should consider working on uploading professional and well-detailed videos about their cars. Most people like to watch cars video before making a decision to buy one. That is just my opinion. So on YouTube, you see if Honda CR-V releases a new one, you see the video is on there. Same with Mercedes, Formatic, the fresh one is on there. You should begin to look at that.
We are looking at that critically. We'll be doing that from now.
Okay. Let me find out about the African market. There's a lot of talk about staying competitive as we all gear towards having a continental free trade agreement area implemented. What are your plans? Because we also want to see you, those of us that are playing around the ports there, we want to see you export out of the country using the port so that even if we have reduced the importation of cars, we should be able to see you exporting cars.
Yeah, interestingly, we started exporting cars since last year. Our first export was to Liberia, and it's to a new prominent person like the former president of Liberia, Madam Johnson Sirleaf. Yes.
She drove your car?
She drove a car. I visited
Beautiful.
her in Liberia last year. I had coffee with her.
Beautiful.
We sat in the car. She actually commended Kantanka for doing a very good job. And if somebody outside of Ghana, a very prominent person like her,
should be driving your car.
Kantanka.
So I think that, are you looking at that, right on the back of the of government, and reach out to Burkina Faso government, Nigerian government, Malian government, and all of that?
Yeah, and let me come in with this. Our second export was to Norway. Norway. The Scandinavian country, Norway.
Kantanka there,
Kantanka
in
Norway. So we are not performing bad at all in terms of export.
How many did you send there?
One to Norway, one to Liberia.
Okay.
And
just one to test the waters.
Test the waters. And the demand coming now
looks good.
It's not easy. I don't want to mention the countries now.
Okay.
But there is excessive demand for Kantankan cows outside of West Africa.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome.
So very soon, you see shiploads of Kantankan vehicles getting out of the Tema port too.
Good. The port will be happy to have that. Emmanuel is calling us from Kwashiman, and he's on the line. Hello, Emmanuel.
Yes, boss. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, from my few experiences that I have with some of the car manufacturing industries or the service in Ghana, during the policy formation, they look at the demand and then what could be affordable to the people. So let's say he said that they started with the staff and then the big cars, just to pay attention of the big guys. But the question is, if you look, let's take the taxi drivers, for instance, into consideration. The taxi drivers right now, since the introduction of the small cars like the Nissan Micra and the March and also Hyundai items and so on, they are taking over the market. So most taxi drivers are not going in for the small cars because they are taking the fuel consumption and how economical it is all into consideration. So I believe if they can focus on the small cars, I don't have the specific names, but if they can focus on the small cars, that will be very accessible and affordable to all of us.
Good.
For instance, if I can go to work and then I will spend maybe 20 cities worth of fuel a day as a young man, that would be better for me than to ride a car that can maybe cost me 100, 150.
Good idea. Good idea, Emmanuel. Thank you. The point is well made. So the concentration on the sedans for the consuming market. If you take the taxis, for instance, we've seen some people using their monima for taxis. And they look very nice, sleek, and all that. So can you concentrate there as well, beyond the state orders and all that?
Yeah, that is what we are doing now.
Okay.
That is why we are coming out with a lesser engine capacity version than the previous 1.5 cc Amonima.
Okay.
So now we are doing 800 cc, which the fuel consumption is very, very, very minimal and low.
Oh, okay. That's good. Hello, Sami. You don't have to read this particular. Okay, so that gone there. So let me go to AGI President, Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Sechuma Kwabwa, and find out how we can, or Kantanka can be built ahead of this after implementation, stay competitive so that locally you are up there when it comes to demand, and then sub-regionally you can also compete with the others. Mr. Sechuma Kwabwa.
Hello? Hello?
Hear you. Okay, Frank.
I can hear you.
So I was asking how we can prep KANTANKA, for instance, for the sub-regional market. At the moment, do you see them capable leading the automobile industry as an indigenous company, taking charge of the sub-region?
I think they have a good chance. They've started well. They are developing the market gradually. They are gaining acceptance in the local market. And I keep saying that for any product to go outside the country, you must first do well in your own market. And from the explanation he's giving, it looks like the local market is catching on. So once you have a good grasp of the local market, you can then launch onto the other markets. And then you start from West Africa. And I think within the West African markets, apart from Nigeria, I've not heard of any country that assembles vehicles of this nature. And therefore, they could be one of the few that are doing this. And they already have advantage under the ECOWAS protocols to be able to export duty-free, quota-free to these countries. It then gives them an advantage, because if you are bringing similar vehicles from other countries, you have to pay duty when they enter the African market. But because it's coming from Ghana and it is KANTANKA, they may not be required to pay these duties. So it gives them a good marketing edge. The other thing is that beyond West Africa, you can now go into Africa under the Continental Free Trade Agreement, which is starting next year, January. And it also means that the bigger African market is at your disposal. The advantage of a bigger market is that it helps you to reduce costs, because you can now target a larger number and volume of business. And once you have that, you are producing to scale, large-scale production. When you do large-scale production, the cost per unit reduces, because there's always some overheads that can be spread over a bigger number. So when you do that, your cost per unit reduces, and therefore you become more competitive compared to the other competitors as well. Because for most of the other vehicles we know, they also produce in large volumes. If you don't produce with a certain minimal quantity, you cannot be competitive. So the advantage they have is that they will be able to access these markets that others cannot enter duty-free, quota-free. It gives them advantage. But then to help them, we should help grow their local market first, which is what I believe government has tried to do with the encouragement of local institutions and government institutions to procure their products. And then also, he mentioned that with the new policy, the parts, for example, the duty on the parts are being taken out. For me, that is a major boost, because it's going to reduce the cost significantly. And therefore, once you are reducing costs, you can do well in those markets. The marketing of it is key. And I think this is something that all efforts should go into it. The Ghanaian embassies abroad should start talking to some of the dealers, some of their colleague government institutions, that if government of Ghana has procured this number of vehicles, your government, if you're going to procure vehicles, can you look at Ghana? Can you consider the manufacturers from Ghana? Can you consider KANTANKA? Can we give you an example of? And I like the idea of the Liberian president, the former Liberian president, buying a KANTANKA vehicle. So if she's using it, it's on the streets of Liberia, I can imagine that the business people in Liberia will say, oh, okay, if this product is coming from Ghana, then it's good enough for us to use it, because even our president was using it. So that kind of encouragement is key, and we should all support in building it. But you cannot build without, as I said, price and quality competitiveness. Don't compromise on that. And the similar value chain that they are developing in Ghana, they can do same in the other African countries. So if you get dealers in, say, Burkina Faso, in Mali, in other places, bring their mechanics and train them as you are doing here. Because the support service is key. The moment they have a problem with the vehicle, the parts must be available. There must be mechanics who can fix it. If you don't have these two key elements, you struggle in the market. So these are very important aspects that we need to look at. He mentioned that they are also prepared to go into even backward integration by doing some of the parts in Ghana. there's one advantage that we may have in the near future, and that is the idea of producing bauxite and doing the refinery here and do the entire aluminium chain here. It's a major policy of government. I know a board has even been set up. The ADI is represented on that board. They are working very hard to ensure that the bauxite production comes on stream. And the entire value chain will be here because we are producing the bauxite as a raw material. It will be refined here, to go to Valco to produce it into alumina. The likes of Aluworks will produce into sheets, and then the vehicle companies can use it. Now, when you do all that here, it means that the cost of the major part of cars, which is the body, is going to be produced in Ghana. The material will be here, and therefore cost will come down. If you're able to reduce cost that way, your price can be very competitive within the African market. So we need to look at the entire value chain, and I believe that if we prepare very well, these are areas we can look at and make sure that we succeed. Let's look at electricity. Well, I'm happy they have had a solution to the electricity problem. But the more they're able to reduce, the better it is for them, because then you are reducing cost of production. And then the financing models and things that we're talking of. All these other linkages must work together to make them very strong. And if they are strong in the market, I have no doubt that they'll be able to enter Europe and other places. When it comes to the consumer, when he's buying something, sometimes they don't care too much about where it's coming from. It is the quality. But for them to gain acceptability, for them to accept it as a quality product, they must test it. There must be other people testifying for it. So you need to have a marketing mechanism that brings out the quality that you have. And that's why you shouldn't compromise at all. Get it right the first time, and it will continue to help you going forward.
Do you think that beyond the directive that state agencies should purchase some of these locally assembled cars, and in particular KANTANKA, because it's the only indigenous one among them, there can also be a directive that all consular services and their staff beyond the shores of Ghana, everywhere across the globe, consular services and embassies of this country and their staff should be using KANTANKA?
I think it's possible. They are part of the government institutions, and being part of government institution means that it is a Ghanaian taxpayers' money which is being used to purchase some of these items for you. So even if you are outside the country, it doesn't debar you from being a part of that directive. So I think that by implication, if you say government institutions, it includes those that are outside the country. It includes the embassies. The embassies are also using taxpayers' money, Ghanaian taxpayers' money, to purchase various items. So they should also be encouraged to use it. So I think it is very possible, and indeed it should be encouraged, because if an ambassador of Ghana in another country is using this, his colleagues will see it, and then other people will say, okay, it looks like you have a good product from Ghana, I'm interested. Even if they are not buying it as colleague ambassadors in that country, they can encourage their country folks to buy it because they've seen the Ghanaian ambassador in their country using it. So it's all part of the marketing arrangement, and I think it should be encouraged.
Okay, so this one says, which people is KANTANKA targeting? Why can't they manufacture simple cars for government and other workers? He's talked about that. It's coming from David in Sunyani. We have Adanse Fomena, Simon from Adanse Fomena. Is he on the line? Okay, I think we had a line dropped. Simon from Adanse Fomena, you can get back on. Good evening. I am John from Airport. I have been watching their documentaries, and I notice a shortfall on workers' health and safety. What are their position on their health and safety, and are they conforming to ISO standards? Okay.
Yes.
Jim,
you know, in
your videos, say they are not saying safety stuff in there. Helmet, well dressed with
in vehicle construction, you cannot be in the spraying booth with helmet. You know, we have certain gears that they wear. You saw it in the video.
Yeah.
In the general assembling line, we don't use helmets.
Okay.
It's just in the welding line that we use.
Okay, so you're observing it.
Yes.
Okay, this one says, good evening. My greetings to you all. My question is, when would the saloon cars come into the market and how much would it cost? My advice to him is they should move from one company to another and speak to the union for hard purchases. My name is Charles. So move to organizations, talk to the union that workers can be given loans to pay. Are you doing that?
We're doing that. NAT has approached us.
NAT is what? The Association of Teachers?
Yes.
Okay.
And then we are working on that.
Okay. Good evening. Kantanka has been doing a very good job. I admire his cars and he does so good with the body works. Kantanka all the way. I am Kandapa from Kumasi. My prayer for Kantanka industry is for them to go worldwide. Can you share with us what your plans are for beyond Ghana?
Beyond Ghana, we're looking at, first of all, the West African sub-region. And our main focus, our main target is Nigeria. And we, like I said, had some orders from Nigeria, which we did not decline though. But then, if we consider the situation prior to the policy, it will not be cost effective. So we have revised those orders, and then it's taking effect this year. And I hope by the end of the year we will be exporting lots of cars to Nigeria and other.
Lastly, because some of those who are calling back missed the lines, and quickly because I have to take just about 2 calls before I end. The number to call is 020-552-8353. Should be on your screens. 020-552-8353. The number you can WhatsApp, and you have been doing so already, 055-901-977. On Facebook, they are saying that Prosper a fortitude says, God bless Kantanka. Felix Roman Fada says, I'm very proud of Kantanka as Ghanaian. Please, can I kindly have his contact, or how can I reach him? It's very urgent. Obinti Kwabena says, Master, please, where is the car they give to? Okay, this one, I think it's an individual matter. Okay, so the Nigerian market, you said the Nigerians ordered for it, and you've been strategic about it.
Yes.
So assume that you start getting orders from Burkina, Mali, and Nigeria, all those transit countries. And are you capable of meeting these demands?
We are capable of meeting those demands, and then we are currently working on it, because prior to that there were orders from, I think, Niger and Burkina Faso, which we have revisited. We are seeing how we can go back and then revise those orders and then do the supply.
Yeah.
So we are in contact with the embassies, their representatives here in Ghana, and then we are working hand in hand with them. So I believe by the close of this month, we should have those orders, contracts signed for supply, and then by the end of the year we'll be doing those supplies.
Okay, and the more you get these markets, the more you import more components, and the more we make a lot of money. Government, as a matter of policy, should waive export duty for Kantanka to boost exports too. This is another comment. Thanks, MD Emmanuel Pukwase. Please, I want your contact. Quite a number of contacts. Evening, please. I really need to buy some of the Kantanka car, but the car is expensive. Can he elaborate on the cost?
Which of the cars?
So which ones do you think that the regular people can ask? Good evening, some can have access to. How much is their pickups? Double cab, Richmond, a Japan from Tema is asking that one.
We have, pickup. We have one that I'm using is for 170,000 Ghana.
That one is too polished. It's just too sleek.
Yeah.
170,000. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the ordinary pickup is going for 110,000 series.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have Mutakilu from Kaswa. Hello, Mutakilu. Hello, Mutakilu. Okay, this one says, good evening. I think Kantanka for now should concentrate on small cars, especially the electric ones. The one the rep talked about. The government should support the company to grow. We are really proud of them, and we are all going to support. Ohene from La Paz sent that one to you. Do we have Mutakilu on the line? Yes. Hello, Mutakilu. Hello. Okay, still struggling to hear you, Mutakilu. If you can speak up and check your position also as well. Good evening. Please, is the ban on accident car still taking effect, or that ban is abolished? Mohammed from Tema. So far, after the meeting on Monday and next week, God willing, we should be hearing from the parties who have been part of the meetings. The ban on salvage vehicles so far is still what it is, according to the conclusions that they have.
You know, let me come in here. What the policy is saying is that every vehicle that you are importing from, whether it is a used vehicle, should be roadworthy from the point of origin.
Yeah.
So, if, for instance, you are buying a car from outside of Ghana and then the car is not roadworthy,
you don't have to bring it here.
That is it.
Basically,
so we should
and obtain a clean title means a car that's usable from the origin. Kantanka cars are great, and we are proud as Ghanaians to have our own. But however, their prices are quite expensive, and ordinary nurse or a teacher like myself cannot afford to purchase. They should look into the pricing for some of us nurses. The nurses are looking for help.
I told you we are trying as much as we can to construct cars that are as low as 7,000.
Let me get to Mutakilu. He's still on the line. Hello, Mutakilu.
Hello.
Yes, kindly speak up because we can't hear you.
I'm speaking from Kumasi.
Hello.
Hello, I'm speaking.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Okay. Hello.
Hello, I'm speaking from Kumasi.
Yes, please go ahead.
Can I speak to you?
Go ahead, Kachi. Okay. Yajitum. Okay. Wama GM Asri. Okay.
Rino no moye kia bongo kitwa no ina India for ye kanke kunkete ba ayero.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Yeah, that's it. So can be visa. You said something like
that's why we are starting with the tricycle.
But you said the abubuya you are doing is electric. Will it help the man who wants to go and pick the barrier from the farm?
It will help.
Electric? How can they charge it? There's no electricity.
The electric, if there is no electricity where the person lives, that's a problem.
Yeah. So why can't you do a hybrid or a regular?
We will look at it and then see if we can. There is a technology that we are developing where we can build. We can build this generator type of power in the engine bay to supplement the battery. So we can do that. We are still working on it.
Okay, somebody is asking something that I think it's crucial. He says the price that you mentioned, and before I go to Isaac from Takwa, who is on the line, he says the price that you mentioned, does it include import, the duty and everything? So once they buy from you, there's no duty that needs to be paid.
There is no duty paid on.
So this is all the amount?
Everything inclusive.
Okay. So that people don't assume that once you pay the amount you're talking about, you still have to go and pay duty.
It even includes registration.
Oh, you register the car for them?
You register the car for them.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
that's
as
new.
an incentive that we are giving to consumers.
Isaac is calling us from Takwa. Hello, Isaac.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Please, I wanted to draw in a suggestion.
Please do that.
Okay. I want Kantanka people to come to in our mining areas like Takwa or Boise, so that because I think in that areas they can buy those kinds of cars and other things. So if they can bring their offices here, Takwa here or Boise and mining areas, I think it will help.
Thank you.
And also they should also start doing the small engine capacities so that everybody can be affordable to everyone to buy.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So that's it looks like there's a lot of demand for you to meet.
Yes, Takwa Bogoso Pristi area, one of our major clients is at Bogoso.
Okay.
And he has a couple of pickups and SUVs over there.
Okay. So good evening, on Port. Please ask if I buy Kantanka car, will I have to pay customs duty and DVLA registration? He's mentioned that already. You don't have to pay for any registration. It's part of the whole package. No import duty as well. Please, what is the least price of the car Kantanka has?
45,000 cedis.
45,000 cedis. What car is that?
The Amonima MI.
Amonima MI. That is a 5-seater.
The 5-seater.
But the small, the church one, the one for the campus.
Exactly.
Fresh, brand new, 45K.
Tear
Hello, my name is Daddy Nana from Chiripone. Kantanka should try and produce motor for us all the way here in Chiripone. Okay. So you have a lot coming your way. When we come back, we'll wrap up with you as well as the CEO of AGI. International Port and Maritime News next. According to China's official press agency Xinhua, in July 2017, Tanzanian President John Magufuli officially launched a project to upgrade Dar es Salaam Port, managed by Tanzanian Ports Authority, which mainly involves the upgrade of 7 existing berths and the building of a new berth. A site engineer for Czech said the upgrade will enable large vessels with a load carrying capacity of up to 70,000 t to dock at the port, while currently the port accommodates vessels with a capacity of under 30,000 t. Feasibility report for the project shows that the port's cargo handling capacity will be increased to about 17.65 meter tons per year upon completion of the upgrade, a 26% increase over the current capacity. Last year, Tanzanian Foreign Minister Kabudi said the expansion of the Dar es Salaam port is a vivid example of Tanzania's participation in the China proposed Belt and Road Initiative. The International Forklift Truck of the Year is composed of the German VDMA Association, CMAT exhibition, and a jury of experts from the industry. This independent organization assesses and recognizes the best intralogistics solutions in the global forklift industry. So far, with Sunny stepping up, it is the second time that a Chinese company has been rewarded a world-class logistics product award. This year's IFOY award selected 17 machines and solutions from 16 manufacturers, including Sunny, Bosch Rexroth, Toyota and Hyster, with a panel of 27 renowned logistics media professionals from 19 countries. The jury selected the Sunny Hybrid Restocker for the award, since this is the first restocker on the market with a truly economical hybrid system. Technically, the Sunny Hybrid Restocker contains an energy for boom lifting, a lightweight spreader design, and an enhanced transmission engine combination. Norway's OHT has entered into a binding heads of agreement with China Merchants Heavy Industries CMHI for the construction of 2 wind turbine installation vessels with options for 2 more units. OHT entered the agreement through its wholly owned subsidiary, Vind Offshore Installation AS. The vessels will be jackups of Gusto MSC design and will be prepared to handle the next generation wind turbines, featuring a telescopic crane with a maximum capacity of 2,500 t and a maximum lifting height of approximately 165 meters. The jackups will be capable of installing wind turbines in water depths of up to 65 meters. The vessels will feature battery hybrid solutions as well as sophisticated electrical and control system, reducing carbon dioxide emissions by 20% compared to similar units. As a future option, the vessels have been prepared for fuel cells powered by hydrogen to be installed. The first unit will be delivered in early 2023. The delivery structure for the second unit is flexible. A renowned US-based business magazine, Forbes, has named Carnival Corporation and PLC, the world's largest cruise company, one of America's best employers for women in 2020.
In Forbes' annual survey, Carnival Corporation was ranked the number 9 employer in the travel and leisure industry and was the only cruise-specific company to be recognized among the 300 top companies employing at least 1,000 people in their U.S. operations. The 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and its 17 Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, adopted by world leaders in 2015, embody a roadmap for progress that is sustainable and leaves no one behind. Achieving gender equality and women's empowerment is integral to each of the 17 goals. The exclusive listing of America's best employers for women was determined through an independent survey of more than 75,000 U.S. employees, including 45,000 women working for companies with at least 1,000 employees in their U.S. operations. The European Maritime Safety Agency, EMSA, and the European Centre for Disease Control, ECDC, jointly published the COVID-19 EU guidance for cruise ships. As explained, the guidance is not intended to provide prescriptive solutions. Rather, it helps stakeholders in determining the effectiveness of measures addressing the identified risks related to the COVID-19 pandemic. As a living document, the European Seaport Organization expects the guidance to change and adapt in accordance with new developments and policy measures relating to COVID-19. The guidance places the main responsibility for preventing and containing outbreaks on cruise operators and contains important advice on how operators should coordinate and cooperate with port managing bodies and port states. At the same time, the guidance recognizes that the safe operation of a cruise ship normally requires the involvement of several parties, including the company managing the ship, shipmaster and crew, the port and terminal where the ship will berth, the state whose flag the ship flies, and the state that the ship visits. The cooperation of these main parties concerned is essential to restart operations and to respond to the challenges posed by the outbreak of COVID-19, according to ESPO. Recent data from BIMCO indicates that container shipping demolition has hit a 41-month high in July, reaching 52.8 thousand TEU, thereby surpassing the 50.6 thousand TEU demolished in June. In the first 7 months of the year, a total of 152.8 thousand TEU has been demolished, up 26.3% from last year. 16 ships have been demolished in July, including the 1998-built Cyan Maersk, the largest container ship ever to be demolished at 9,600 TEU. The strong demolition volumes in June and July come after a very slow few months for demolition activity. The BIMCO data shows that in particular, the 3 months between March and May saw very little activity, with only 21.1 thousand TEU being removed from the market, 72.8% lower than in the same 3 months of 2019 as a result of the lockdown measures in the major shipbreaking nations of the world.
Okay, so Chairman couldn't make it here today, but he promises to make it another time, definitely. So we are just going to play something small that he said that's important. Just listen to it and quickly we'll wrap up.
Masaya Kabi, I know dear, I'm to say, animal Kobano, Amy, and a toward and so back. They didn't tell me in the sun say, I know dear, Saki to me, ya. Ye better dear Chinchini Gana, ne born yet in the Okokrumwa, no trim, say, ye fool. We say a benum petrumpa, Kitwebi.
Okay, Ulman says Abenum Petro Kitwebi, and I think that this helps the gentleman who called from Kumasi asking to speak Chi. Yes. Even Ulman himself is always speaking Chi. But they said, please, what is the lease price? 45,000. Can we see the pictures of the car? Somebody wants to see the pictures of the car, but somebody also wants to know the 45,000 cars. Are they available now that they can go and buy? Can they be used for taxis like the way they have the Nissan March?
Yeah, they can be used for taxis. They are just like the Nissan March.
Okay.
The Hyundai i10.
Okay.
And they can be used for taxis.
And they are already in the market.
They will be in the market in 2 weeks' time.
In 2 weeks' time. Yes. Mr. Chumakabwa, let's come to you for your final statement, either to the Ghanaian public or to Kantanka.
Well, thank you. I think that I'm happy he mentioned that they are not seeing or considering the other players that are coming to the market as competitors, but as possible collaborators. And I think that is where we need to work together as an association. We already have the automotive and transport sector. It's a very important sector, so all the transport players and then the automobile companies are there. So when they come in, we should be able to work together and champion policies that will support the local production. And then when they work together as vehicle assembling plants, they should be able to develop the Ghanaian market as a hub, an industrial hub of vehicle assembling plants for the whole West Africa and African market. So working together for me is key. And I'm happy that they are not considering them as competitors, but as potential collaborators that can work together to develop the bigger market. My other advice is that they should continue the marketing effort. As I said, marketing is everything. If you don't have the market, you don't have business. So it is very important. I will continue to also urge government that, I think the government policy that has come out is very good. Encouraging government institutions to buy made in Ghana products. And in this particular instance, buy locally assembled vehicles. It is good. Let's monitor. Let's make sure it works. Let's all support that policy to work. And then at the individual level, of course, we encourage people to have confidence in our own Ghanaian products. Sometimes we seem to have too much doubts about made in Ghana products. All kinds of comments are made. The mere fact that you use a particular product which wasn't good does not mean all the products that are produced in Ghana are bad. Kantanka has done so well. The product is on the market now. You can test it, you can try it. People are using it. So let's encourage ourselves to make sure that we buy these products. And then finally, for AGI as an association, we cherish them as a member. They are blazing the trade. They are doing new things. They are introducing new products into the market. And that's the kind of companies we want as members. And we encourage them. We give them every support. But I think that they shouldn't rest on their horse. They should target the West African market and then later the African market. And I'm sure we'll all help develop this country. So thank you very much for having me.
Very much, Mr. Seth Chumakabwa. Bismarck from Bantama, Kumasi is the one I'm ending with, and he says, technology at Kantanka is superb, but I wish the company could produce for commercial purposes, for instance, taxi and trotros, etc. We know it's not easy, but the market will grab it. Moreover, farming machinery, if also it's important, he can take a look at that. My guest, Mr. Seth Chumakabwa, virtually joined us, CEO, the Association of Ghana Industries, also in the studio as Francis Kujoji, the man who is running things, General Manager at Kantanka Automobile, Kantanka. And I have to say a big thank you to the CEO, Kantanka Automobile as well, Mr. Kojo Safu Jr. You are doing marvelously well together with your team. So, Kojo, more grace and continue to do all the jobs that you are doing on behalf of the founder and chairman, Kojo Apostle Dr. Kojo Safu Kantanka, Senior. In this case, thank you very much for coming. See you same time next week. I have to say a big thank you to the entire crew. They're all looking for your custom. Henry, he's in the studio. He's asking that I should talk to you about the 45,000 one. Do you have a payment plan for that? Okay, Bosom Prayer has also whispered one. So thanks a lot to the production team. Henry, Joseph, Bosom Prayer, Joe Bone, Joe Apia, and Frank Gomelosio produced the program. Executive producers of this program, Mrs. Isi Suduberg and Mrs. Esther Jebidonko. See you same time next week.